Men of Gondor, a captain of our allies is slain by the foe. Pray his men hold fast. Men of the line, a valiant leader of our allies has perished this day, yet his men fight on, taking heart from his courage. Hear me, a champion of our ranks was felled by the enemy, fighting unto the last. Recall his bravery as you close with the foe. Soldiers of Gondor, our allies break before the foe. We must now look to our flanks. Tighten the line. Men of the line, hear me. Our allies are breaking. They fall back before the enemy. Now it is unto us to turn the enemy's flank, to cover their flight. Men of Gondor, our allies are in peril. They are being driven from the field. We must goad the foe now, force him to turn unto us, and then we might destroy him. Brothers, the general of our allies is sorely pressed, harried by the enemy across the field, but his troops yet carry the fight. Hear me, the enemy is breaking the allied lines, forcing the commander of our kinsmen in retreat, but we cannot go to his aid. It is a baited trap the foe has set. We must hold fast. There, brothers, the general of our allies draws the enemy's strength unto himself, but will perish certain unless we break their lines. Here for Gondor! Hearken, I bring great tidings. There, the enemy breaks. They are running. They are running. Sons of Hugh, we have victory! Men of Gondor, the craven foe flies before us. Quickly, we are handed now the greatest of chances to crush his forces utterly. Brothers, the enemy breaks before us. Now is the moment. Cut down the foe. Let none escape. We will end this evil here. Hear me. By the grace of Vada, the enemy chieftain has been cut down. Now, without pause, we must strike his forces a mortal blow. For the White City! Men of the line, the enemy general lies dead by our swords. The time is now to break his forces. They waver in doubt. Men of Minas-Tirith, the chieftain of our foes is dead. We must assault his forces with renewed fury and end this blackness. The enemy commander runs. Then, brothers, leave him, for he is already dead to his forces. Turn rather to the annihilation of his army. The enemy collapses, and there, their general runs. He runs and abandons his rabble. Oh, would that all our foes had such bold leaders. The enemy general flies the field. Pursue him, and end this madness and bloodshed. Brothers of Minas-Tirith, this is a great day. The cruel king lies dead. Now we might end this. Drive them from the field. For the White City! Take heart. Carry the word that all may know. The enemy king is dead, laid low by the might of Gondor. Hear me, kinsmen. We have slain the tyrant, but pause not for food nor rest, for we must hasten with all speed to end this thing, to crush his forces. He flees. The master of cruelty flies from the battle, and now his army wavers in terror, brothers, like many rats caught far from their nest. What great fortune is this? The enemy king abandons his army? Could chances be more certain for victory? Let us seize this moment as a gift. Shout to the heavens. The king of deceit runs even now, as a coward from our forces. Let him not escape. Men of Gondor, the enemy raises ladders to the walls. Greet them mightily with sword and axe. To arms! The enemy climbs the walls, brothers. Only steel and valor will block them now. To arms! Hasten, men of Minas-Tirith. The foe, even now, tests our defence, mounting ladders to the walls. Quickly, they must not gain the top. Brothers, the enemy brings more forces to bear upon the field, but count not the foe, but rather our resolve this day. Hearken, the enemy brings more swords to the battle. Do not be overawed in this. Consider it tribute to our skill at arms and prowess on the field. Men of Gondor, the enemy rushes more troops into the battle, and so we must thank the foe for easing our task, bringing the wheat to the harvester to be cut down. A wretched beast of Mordor slain, so ends this hateful mockery of men. This dog of Mordor has been brought down by our swords. Burn the body, cleanse the swords. Ah, he is cut down. This beast who preyed upon men is finished. Run, creature of Mordor. What den might you hide in now? Run, But know this, we will hunt and find you. Brothers, there flies a brute of these black orcs who feast on men's flesh. He fears like the taste of steel, it seems. After him, slay him ere he escapes to his wicked master. Ah, the adder crawls from the nest. He abandons the field and his force. We will break him in due turn. Their tunnels have failed. Strong backs, picks, and shovels have broken our enemies this day. So ends the foe's desperation. He tries craft and trickery where courage and valor have failed. Men of Gondor, now! Drive them back! They must not gain the walls! The enemy towers are at the walls. Soldiers of Gondor, remember now your duty to defend the city. Let none pass! To arms, brothers! The foe comes upon us in towers. We must stop them! At the walls! The tower is broken. It sows confusion upon our enemies. The enemy raised up towers to our destruction, yet they are but monuments to his ruin. Look, there stands the tower of the foe, ruined, broken, a pillar of death for our enemies. To the walls, men of Gondor! Take the breach! We must hold the gap! The walls are breached! Now, for Gondor and glory! Brothers, delay not! The city lies before us! We must seize the gap! Men of Gondor, we have taken the walls! The foe now retreats before us to the city. Swiftly, give them no pause, no quarter! Sound the horn! Brothers, we have topped the walls, broken the defenders, but the battle is not done. The foe masses now in streets and alleys, in ready defence. Foes of Gondor, now reckoning comes sudden to the enemies of the White Tree. Fall back! The enemy has the mastery! Fall back! Fall back! Swiftly for your lives! Disaster is upon us! We cannot hold them! We cannot! Fly the field! Retreat, brothers! Retreat the field! We may yet save some strength of men and arms this day. Men of Gondor, hang not your heads in shame. The foe suffered bitter loss this day, and while we seek to fight anew, he doubts anew. Men of Minas-Tirith, the clash this day was mighty, though we yielded the field at the last to our foes. But do we not have our lives, our arms, and our honour? And these are no small things. Take good counsel, then. We will renew our strength. Sons of Gondor, though we yielded the battle this day, we are not a broken people, nor will we dwell upon defeat, but rather ahead, toward the foe's destruction. We have been beaten, call it nothing less, yet we must learn from this bitter lesson, or we are undone. Today we were defeated, make no mistake, yet our resolve is not lessened, and we retain weight of arms and men. The enemy will regret our escape this day. Brothers in arms, today the enemy drove us from the field, but as great heat forges metal, so we are forged in trial and battle. Thus, are we not the stronger for our loss? Brothers, we had the enemy by the throat, yet he slipped the grasp, turning upon us. Yes, the day was lost, but turn now to your arms, sharpen spear and sword, tend to your armour, for the respite will be short until the next clash. Men of Gondor, you carried yourselves well this day. Rest, for chance for battle will come all too swiftly. Oh, calamity is this day! Too many champions and men dead. Gondor mourns for her lost sons. Woe! Even the heavens turn from us. Such a setback to the army of Gondor has not occurred in 100 years. We must pray for strength to endure. This day is a black one for sons of Numenor. Stand to, men of the line. We withdraw this day only to fight again at a later time. Think not then of home and hearth. Brothers, victory was stolen at the last, a bitter ending. Now we must retire from the field, to ready ourselves once again. The clash was fierce and the enemy relentless, yet were we not the more so? Then why do we retire the field this day? Most unwelcome tidings. The general of our armies is dead, yet his men fight valiantly on. Dire news. The general of Gondor was slain in grievous battle. and the outcome uncertain. Hearken, men of Gondor, our valiant general is dead, slain by the cruel foe. But this will not go unavenged. We will repay the enemy 100-fold for his loss. Brothers, our general flies from the field. He retreats. But what of the army? What can this omen for our men? Men of Gondor, our lines are breaking, and the general, he is cut off. We must rally to his aid. Men of Gondor, the press of enemy is great upon our general. He retreats now across the field. We must fight the harder to draw our foe's teeth. Men of the line, up the ladders. The fortune of Gondor lies now upon your swords. For Gondor!
Come on, lads. Glory waits at the top. Come on!
Steady, men, up swiftly. This is our time. Blade work close and neat. Drive the scum off the walls. A man of Gondor has fallen, lads. Remember him this day in battle. Hear me. A valiant captain of Gondor was slain. His sword arm will be missed sorely this day. His men were mighty fighters. The cruel enemy has killed a brave champion of the White City. May he be remembered in our deeds. Brothers, I regret the pressure of battle is too much. A brave captain of Gondor has fled the field. The enemy lies hard against our forces. The foe has driven a captain and his men from the field. We must hold this line. Men of Gondor, the enemy is breaking our lines. A valiant captain has been driven back, harried by the enemy. Heave, boys, heave! Soon the gate will be broken, the city open, and for us either glory or the afterlife. Hail, foes of Gondor, we knock upon your door. Fire, sword, and ruin do we bring. Do you not feel the pounding of your doom? Bang the ram lively, boys. Heave, heave! There, the stone crumbles. Heave, then! Ho, soldiers of Gondor, the gate falls. Now, through the gate, the city is ours. Elibereth, the gate is broken. Swiftly, seize the gatehouse and drive the enemy from the keep. Sound the trumpet. The wall is broken. Through the gap, men of Gondor, to victory and glory. Men, glad tidings, for there marches more swords of Gondor come to our aid. Brothers, fresh soldiers of the White City even now advance to our aid. Behold, the enemy wavers at these sudden reinforcements. Oh, great strength unhoped for. There, brothers, there, sons of Numenor, beneath banners silver and black, hasten to the battlefield to the ruin of our foes. The enemy attacks our tunneling. Kill them! Come on, men, defend our mines from those devils. The tunnel's giving way! Pull back! The tunnel has caved in, and many brave men lie dead and buried. The shaft collapsed. Now we must seek another path. Sound the horn. Beat the drum. Gondor comes for ruin and war. Sweep the defenders from the ramparts. Clear the walls. Fight, sons of Gondor. It is your duty to clear the walls. Brothers, the tower collapses. It burns. Quickly, pull back our soldiers. We will find another way. The tower is destroyed. Pull back swiftly before more valiant warriors are lost. The foe was beaten badly. He left much strength of blood and arms upon the field. Thus our enemy becomes weakened, clash by clash. The courage of true men prevailed today. Yes, we won a battle. Gondor has won many battles, but it is destruction of the foe we seek, is it not? The foe is broken, brothers, grievously hurt this day, but we cannot rest on this victory. We must hound the enemy, avail him no rest. Discipline and skill of arms prevailed this day, and will again on the morrow. We do not celebrate every turning of the blade as our enemies, rather turn to the care of arms and rest. We vanquished the foe in battle. Our soldiers earned great honours this day, and so we must turn to the next clash. Be satisfied. Our enemy was fierce and reckless, and yet they are dead, for we have the greater mastery of arms this day. This was an ugly victory. The enemy is now uncertain of our mastery. We will face them all too soon, I fear. This was a bitter clash. The victory unsure till last, and great our glory in this fight. But I would rather we killed them the more and had fewer ballads to sing. So ends the foes of Gondor. a field of countless dead, a banquet for dogs and birds of carrion to glut upon. Where are those who vowed to destroy us now? Their cruel army crushed, beasts slaughtered, champions slain, their vanity no more. Men of Gondor, today we devastated the foe's army, cut down their chieftains and hetmen, crushed their pride. They have broken our walls. Soldiers of Gondor, you will dam this gap in the defences. The enemy breaches our walls. Quickly, meet them at the breach. They must not gain the city. For Gondor! The walls are falling. Who can stop the enemy now? We've lost the walls to the enemy. Fall back! Fall back! We cannot hold them! Run! The enemy has gained the walls. Fall back, soldiers of Gondor. Reform the battle lines. We will stop this foe. Great gods! The enemy has tunnelled beneath the walls. They crumble. How might we stop the foe now? The enemy undermined the walls, lads, and so they fall. It is left to us to defend the breach.